75, there's a look inside the iconic Mercedes-Benz Superdome in downtown New Orleans. Today, we've got a good Week 5 matchup in store here between the Baltimore Ravens and the New Orleans Saints. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And here come the Saints for their opening drive. They'll be led out by the first pick of the second round back in 2001, and that's the veteran Drew Brees.
Drew Brees' accomplishments have been borderline astounding. When you look back at what people thought about him coming out of college, so-called height issue, you name it, he can do it. And boy, does he prepare well for each and every game.
They run. It's Mark Ingram. And he powers his way up past the 30. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
Again, they'll run with Ingram. And he'll lose yardage here, going down back at the 28. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. A tough spot here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 7. And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. Now Brees. Catch here, left side, Thomas. They convert on 3rd with a gain of 22.
The goal of every offense is to move the chains, pick up first downs. A nice job finding an open receiver for a completion.
This is Ingram on 1st and 10. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down.
To me, that's a superior play by the backer because he was allowed to, I think, run free on it and make that play. His defensive linemen, they covered things down for him because offensive guys, the linemen, what they're trying to do, as you know, is block the guy at the point of attack and then climb to the next level and get the linebacker. When you're not allowed to climb, you got a free hitter, and that's what we saw there, and a really nice play resulted for them.
And not what he was hoping for there, as this will hit in the end zone for a touchback. So here come the Ravens with their first look on offense. They'll be led out by their veteran QB, the former Delaware Blue Hen, Joe Flacco.
If anything, I think Joe Flacco is underrated. He's a guy who leads his team to a lot of wins during the regular season, elevates his play in the postseason, and has a Super Bowl ring, was a Super Bowl MVP. Yet many times he doesn't get mentioned with the top quarterbacks in the league.
No gain on the play there. It'll be 2nd down. On 2nd down, Flacco to throw. To the sideline, and oh, a nice catch there. Made sure the feet were inbounds, and they were. No gain on that one, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down. Well, here we go now. An extra defensive back in there on 3rd and 10. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
It'll be a 51-yard punt that time. And the Saints will take over with a 1st down and 10. Back out onto the field now comes the New Orleans offense. And last time out, they had to punt the football away. Anything positive possibly to take from that?
There always is when you're punting the football away. It doesn't sound like it because you're giving it up. But you've avoided a mistake.
At least you didn't turn it over.
You didn't turn it over, right? You're giving your defense a chance because you're punting the ball away, and they're set to go on the field as opposed to sudden change after a turnover. And wow, now we got to go out there and stop people. So, yeah, there's always something positive to be gained from it.
And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
Well, Brandon, what I'm seeing in this game so far, an offensive line that's establishing themselves well on the line of scrimmage, and they feel like they can keep pounding and pounding throughout this game in order to win.
Throwing the slant pattern here, complete. And he's got the first down yardage before he's brought down at the 42.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
10 yards still left on second down. They'll come out in the pistol. Breeze will try again on second down. It's complete. Fleener, right side. It'll be a gain of 6, and it'll be third down. Let's see what the defense dials up here. 3rd and 4.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
Breeze hands to Ingram, and he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. Offense still needing 10 yards, second down. So nothing there. I don't know that that's all in the back, though. You got to look at blocking there, don't you?
I would agree with that totally. At some point, they have to win at the point of attack. Instead, it was the defense getting it done again and holding them to no gain.
Only a yard on the pickup there, so it leaves them needing a conversion here on 3rd and a tough 9. Now play number 8 on this drive, and they need 9 yards to pick up the first on 3rd. Now Breeze on 3rd down. He's got time. Going for the deep ball. And did he get the feet down? No. They'll say he did not. It's incomplete.
That was a difficult catch, and I admire the fact that he actually caught the football, worked so hard to get his feet down inbounds, tried to do the toe tap. My dad's an accomplished tap dancer. I'm not sure he would have gotten his feet in on that one.
Is he really?
Yeah, that he is.
How about that? What about young Davis?
No, it did not. It did not crunch.
It didn't carry over.
No, it stopped right there.
And the Ravens taking the field. And the last drive, their first drive, 3 out. What changes here, if anything?
I think it's making sure the guys that you trust the most with the ball, the biggest playmakers you have, that they touch it on this possession and try and get things moving.
So get it to the horses.
Without a doubt. They're the ones that typically end up in the end zone. It's a nice completion, a little bit of run after catch as well to create the yardage that they got. But it is so tough to cover that route, the drag route, because they run it at varying speeds. Because the key is to create hesitancy on the defender's part.
Always so empathetic for those DBs, aren't you? It's a 9-yard pickup on the play, and it'll be second and about a yard. Second down, they need less than a yard to pick up the first. And that's one of his advantages of a passer, is now with his height, setting back there in the pocket, firing it over the middle, he can really see everything clearly.
It is, and I know that other quarterbacks get it done different ways, all right? You don't have to be his height to make a great play. But what he does is he takes away having to make those slide steps in the pocket to find angles to throw the ball through. He just throws right over the top of it because he can see everything, and sometimes that saves time and gets the ball to a receiver quicker.
It's a gain of 3, and it gets him the first.
Everyone understood their role on that play. 3rd and 1. You know, the defensive guys, they're trying to get down and get low and get leverage on the offensive lineman, but they didn't allow that to happen. They created a crease and allowed him to get through for a first down.
It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
Some runs are blocked so well, you almost forget that someone has to carry the ball to gain the yardage. The leverage by the offensive line to create space up front, really well done.
Now Flacco, a dump down to McKinnon. And he's brought down. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs. Second quarter now. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis with you. It's the Ravens who have the football, and they're on the move here. They've got it 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 41. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down. Second down, offense behind the sticks here. 2nd and 13.
There's another example of why they haven't scored any points so far. I think it's time to abandon the run game, spread things out, and go to the air. It certainly can't be any worse than what they've done so far. And the ball is knocked out, and they'll set up shop in enemy territory at the 45-yard line. And now the Saints get set to trot out there. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive. As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play. Not a run that you're going to write home about, but still a good first down run. That's what an offense calls staying on schedule. 3 to 4 yards on first down, you're set up very well for the rest of the drive.
It's hauled in by Brandon Cooks. 15 yards through the air and a first down.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you want to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
Breeze gives it up to Ingram. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down.
Tough day, tough sledding right there, and it's been that way the entire game. Not a whole lot of room to ramble for him.
Yeah, you're right. It's been that way all afternoon. Didn't get a whole lot better there. Ingram again. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. Give him 6 on the play, and that's going to bring up a third down.
And once again, leverage wins. The offensive line, lower than the defensive front. They moved them and found some good space for the guy carrying the ball.
To throw, it's Breeze. And he's going to go down. He's sacked back at the 24. Terrell Suggs in there to drop him for a 6-yard loss, and that'll lead to a fourth down. And they weren't in zone coverage. They were in man, and each man did his job.
And that looked like vintage, old-school coverage, didn't it? Man coverage reminded me of an old Raiders team. They had a Hall of Famer at one corner and a Defensive Player of the Year at the other, and they just locked people down.
And we were scoreless up until this point in the second quarter. Now we finally have a little action.
Let's see where this action takes us. First quarter, no points at all. Now we've got our first score of the game. Well, does that signal that we're going to get more as we go along, or will it revert back to what we saw in the beginning of the game?
The Ravens offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And last time they coughed it up, led to a field goal. They're fortunate that it only led to a field goal, but still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though, when they only gave up the field?
And that's caught inside the 30. It's a big play there for Baltimore. 44 yards. A great job pulling that one in from a guy, as we know, who can really blaze. He's got a lot of speed. And that speed can work for him so many different ways. Sometimes he just takes off and goes and just runs past people. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. Jerick McKinnon, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Ravens have retaken the lead. Well, partner, that was another explosive run. And one thing I've learned in our time in this game, yes, the offensive line has to get a lot of credit, but for big runs to occur, the wide receivers have to block well downfield. And then you have to have a good guy carrying the ball too, right? Oh, without a doubt. You need that difference maker lugging the rock. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one, and it'll come out to the 25. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles. I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end. Now Breeze lost the football, and it's picked up by the Ravens. And this is going to be brought back for a Baltimore touchdown. Huge, huge play by the defense, not only to force the fumble, obviously, but to return it for a touchdown. And I know it's no fun for anyone who plays offense, but isn't it fun to see how a defense rallies when there's a fumble return and everyone tries to find someone to block and bring it all the way home? I always like their celebrations because they don't get there that often. No, they're not choreographed very well usually. And you can bet they're preaching 2 hands on the ball here as the kicks away following that fumble return. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one, and it'll come out to the 25. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. They come out here in the I. They'll run with Ingram here to begin the drive. And there just continues to be nowhere to run. He's bottled up again at the line of scrimmage.
We just saw another example of how the defense is winning this game. Really at the point of attack, the offensive line's just getting pushed around. I think now as a play caller, you got to give them a little bit of help. Maybe keep your tight ends a little bit more. Maybe the running backs help you a little bit with the pass blocking. But you've got to help them get some confidence because you can't abandon the play calling right now. But you got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a second and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to third and manageable with that run.
From the gun on third down, Breeze. This is caught. It's Cooks. And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41.
Would it be safe to say that as precise as routes are supposed to be run in the NFL, maybe they're not quite as precise in college ball?
That's accurate, yeah.
And I think we saw a college route in the NFL there. Just find the soft spot, find the dead zone, and find the first down. And that's what he just did.
5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
And that's exactly what you want on a first down run. Pick up 5 yards, bring up 2nd and 5. The defensive line, though, they've got to figure out a way to out-leverage the guys up front because the offensive line is winning at the point of attack.
They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd. And it looks like this will likely be the last play before we hit the 2-minute warning.
Let's see if they can sneak one more good play in before the 2-minute signal.
2 minutes to go here in the first half. We're back to New Orleans after this. Back now. As I search for my cue card here, there we go. Coming up at halftime, Larry Ridley will join us from Orlando. He'll have highlights and analysis from our first half of play.
Well read.
Yeah, thank you. Brandon Cooks, the receiver he was going after, and that brings up 4th down. Well, they've had a pretty frustrating first half here offensively, and that just continued there with that incompletion.
And definitely frustrating for them, but heartening for the other guys. Those stop troops, they're enjoying things right now because they've made it very difficult for them throughout the half.
That one sails out of bounds. The side judge will walk it off. And he says it went out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Nice punt. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And that recipe on their last drive that resulted in a touchdown looked pretty good. So they'll be hoping to do that once more.
And it takes me back to when we sat with the offensive coordinator and the head coach. They felt pretty good about their game plan and thought there were some holes in the defense, and they exploited them the last time out. Let's see if they can come back and put together a similar drive.
And we'll see if they can do just that. And he's going to be taken down right at about the 15-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup. That's going to set up an interesting 3rd and about 4 to go.
We always like to talk about defense and second-level linebackers, third-level defensive backs. On that run, that was what we call a first-level run, and it was stopped by a second-level player.
They get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues.
And Brandon, from our time in college football, where receivers weren't running the traditional NFL route tree, one thing they did learn, find open areas, find soft spots, and set up and catch the ball. And I think we just saw that there.
Yeah, we saw that indeed, picking up the first. Give him 3 on the play, and that'll make it 2nd down. Completed pass play. Now let's see if they go back to the air or to the ground. Here's McKinnon. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Setting up to throw, Flacco. Screen play, McKinnon. A big play there just before halftime. 51 yards.
What really hurts defenses on screen passes is that they eat up one of their levels right away. Because, you know, most defenses, 3 levels. D-line, linebacker, secondary. But on a screen pass, you're inviting the defensive line to get past them, and then you throw the ball over their heads. And now there's just 2 levels left to try and stop big guys out in front of a guy running with the football.
Caught left side, Williams. Give him 7 on the play, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
Here's Flacco. This will be caught at about the 6. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. They'll try and run with McKinnon. And he is going to lose yardage here. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down. Looks like the defense in press coverage here. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. Oh, they get to the football. It's blocked. It's picked up. A live ball here, remember. We have hit halftime. Still 2 more quarters to go. We'll take a timeout. Now, my apologies, Larry. I wanted to hear the report. Somebody's in a hurry. So we're going to get them right to quarter number 3. This fielded at the 2. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. Out come the Ravens now. They'll go on offense first here in this 3rd quarter. They built a good first-half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the 2nd half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the 2nd half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. Here again is McKinnon. And he cuts it back right as he's got this down inside the 40 to the 39. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll make it 2nd and a foot or so.
Really tough drive, but that run help salvage something there because now there's something positive that came out of it. They got to see good blocking, good push by the offensive line, wide receivers trying to get involved, a good run by the back, and now maybe it'll be a catalyst for them to look at going forward, watching it on tape. Maybe they can keep incorporating that type of a run into their offense.
1st and 10, and Flacco looking to throw. That's complete. It's Gordon. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
Flacco here on 2nd down. Looking left side, it's complete. He's got it. And he's brought down. It's a nice pickup of 12 yards, and it gives him a 1st and goal. So they're operating in the red zone.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. A big loss there of about 7 yards on 1st and goal, so now it's 2nd down.
Well, that was point counterpoint, wasn't it? They decided to throw for it on 1st and goal. Instead, the defense counters with pressure, and the defense wins, getting a big sack.
And he is into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. Jerick McKinnon with his 2nd touchdown of the game, 4th of the year. And the Ravens will extend their lead. There are several elements to a well-executed screen pass. This one resulted in a touchdown. It had all of those elements.
Yeah, you're so right because you really need the rush to almost get to the quarterback, almost get to the passer. Then you've got to get the ball thrown perfectly, whether it's to the running back, the wide receiver, whoever the screen guy is. And, of course, the blocking has to form in front to get him downfield for the touchdown.
This will be taken to the back of the end zone. Now the attention turns to the Saints offense getting ready for their first possession of the 2nd half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the 2nd?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the 2nd half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use, just something to get you off to a quick start.
He only got a couple on that one, so not a ton of help. They'll have a 3rd and 8 forthcoming.
Well, I think we know by now that every run is not going to be broken and get all the way to the end zone. But these short ones still have their value. You can still set up your play action and throw the football. You control the clock because you have the ball and they don't. And often the physicality sets the tempo for the game.
And they're able to convert on third with a solid gain of 23. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on third down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a first down. And there's a nice completion to Kobe Fleener, and no one can be happier than Drew Brees.
They had Jimmy Graham for all those years, Ben Watson last year, and now coming south from Indianapolis, Fleener. And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play there, second down. So 2nd and 10 here. Nice job there defensively to clamp down because really they've been on their heels this drive.
Agreed, and they really needed that one for confidence, just to feel a little bit better. But I don't know if I would be daunted by them stopping me on one run. This drive has gone pretty well. I could come right back at them. One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-armed guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
It'll be called a gain of 2, and that'll leave them with some options here on 4th and inches. So out comes the field goal team now for the second time here today. Made his first, this now from 42 yards out. And this one is right through, and that'll get the deficit down to 15. So a good drive there to begin quarter number 3, but they're only able to shave 3 points off that lead.
And now you put the pressure on your defense, who didn't particularly play all that well in the first half. But they're going to need to step it up here and make some plays if these guys are going to have any chance.
And the decision to bring it out, a good one, as he's up a yard or 2 shy of the 30. Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. And they'll just simply be looking to build off the confidence of the last time out where they scored a touchdown.
And confidence is powerful, isn't it? When you've scored once, you feel like you can go back out there and get it done again. Doesn't matter what the defense throws at them. They feel like they're in a groove right now, and they want to get out there and show it.
Yeah, hoping to stay in that groove here this go-around.
It's a tried-and-true formula, and I don't think it'll change for as long as we play football. If someone's trying to throw the ball and you can put pressure on them and make it tough, that's only going to help your defense.
Yeah, he's since being hurried. He got rid of it before taking the hit, but incomplete. Short of the sticks after that completion, and now it's third down for this offense. Flacco off play action. Well, this is taken in. It's complete. And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. Josh Gordon, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Ravens will add on to their lead. That was a nice little setup there off play action for the long touchdown pass.
Yeah, I've got to tell you, it brings back bad memories for a guy like me as a former defensive back, because in a playbook I knew a long time ago, we described that play pattern as draw pass 9 go, meaning fly pattern after the play action pass, try and hit him for the deep ball, and boy, were they successful on that one. So tough because his speed is so great. You've got to make sure you don't miss any cues or keys in order to try and keep up with him.
Draw pass 9 go. That's still a nightmare to this day.
Yeah, I still wake up in the middle of the night and feel the guy going past me.
Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. Offense looking to avoid a 3rd and long. It's 2nd and 10.
But he was stopped on that play. But he's had plenty of carries all afternoon. Every now and then to die away from handing it to him the rest of the game.
Gonna throw right side here, complete. And they're able to get this one across the 35. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target, and he's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat him.
Now Breeze lost the football, and they're going to set up shop at the 27-yard line.
What part are they They went empty set there. No backs in the backfield. All receivers out in the pattern. And in this situation, you know what the quarterback has to do? Act as his own blitz control.
Yeah, he's got nobody else there to protect him.
No one else there to protect, which means he's got to get rid of the football and absorb the hit, but not go down and fumble the ball.
12 yards there as they move the chains.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
McKinnon, and effective running here. He'll take it down inside the 10. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
You know how we get focused at end of the half and into the game situations about how much time's on the board and, you know, what you need to do? Sometimes you don't have to worry about that. That's just smart football. You know, that kind of a lead, staying in bounds, it burns clock, even in a situation that we're not really focused on it.
Back now here live in New Orleans. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4. They come out here in the eye. They run it with McKinnon. And he will force his way into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. Jerick McKinnon, his 3rd touchdown of the game and 5th on the year. And the Ravens have used the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Saints coming out now to take the field. And the turnover last time, that's sort of been symptomatic of their struggles here in this one.
Big word. I like it, though, because you're exactly right.
Like that, don't you?
All game long, they've struggled moving the ball, turning it over on the last possession. Is that word again, symptomatic?
Yeah.
I like that.
Your analysis, symptomatic of the success of this broadcast.
What I like is that you gave me the word, and I just kept using it.
Now Breeze throwing on 2nd down. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case,
there he goes, left side. Touchdown, New Orleans. Kobe Fleener, his first touchdown of the Saints uniform. And the Saints make some inroads here to that deficit. So many times you think of these tight ends catching the ball already in the end zone. But today's tight end, they can run after the catch, too, to score.
They're big, they're strong, but they're extremely...
And now the Raven defense going to call a timeout. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. And this one recovered by the hands team for the Ravens. Now they're down big here in the 4th. They had to try the onside kick. Can't fault them for the effort at least.
No, you can't at all. And if nothing else, now you've put something that you're trying to practice, right, that you've worked on into a game situation, and now you can go back and dissect it. So if you need it again sometime, maybe you'll find a better way to do it. But, yeah, this game's pretty much done for them.
So the offense now dealing with a 2nd and 7.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks, allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day. Well, so many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things, but the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
Now McKinnon. And some room to maneuver. And he's going to get the first down here as he's taken down at the 22. And a new set of downs here after picking up the first on the ground. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's brought down. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs. So it'll be first down here after the run.
When a coaching staff sees their team run the ball this successfully in the fourth quarter, they're really excited because you can plan for a running game all you want and want to press that advantage when you get it. But for the most part, it's a little bit of a surprise. And right now, they're going to keep that going, want to continue to grind out the clock because it's definitely in their favor at this stage of the game. Can they close the game out and continue to do exactly what we just saw there, and that's run the football?
And his throw here's incomplete. The tight end, Max Williams, the intended receiver. And that takes us from second to third down.
All defenders get tired of hearing about their lack of hands and why they're playing defense instead of offense. But in this situation, it was the hands that made the play. Batting the ball away on an attempted touchdown pass, excellent job, way to knock it down. After all the preparation, all the practice, a play like that will absolutely break your heart. They had everything they wanted, just unable to complete it. In the end zone, a big-time drop.
So it's 3 more points, and that widens things out even further here in the fourth.
Hey, in this league, you can never have too much. So if you're in range, grab the 3 whenever you can.
This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now the Saints, they trot their offense out here, and they're hoping to capture some of that magic they had last time out when they were able to put together a scoring drive. But they're still down here, Charles.
Not the major concern, though, because of what you talked about. They scored the last time out. They feel good about themselves. They feel like their game plan is now in effect. They know how to attack and what plays they want to put together. But they've got to keep it moving in the right direction because, as you did note, they are down on the scoreboard. If you're running out route, it's likely you end up near the sideline. And what did we just see there?
Toe tap.
You got it. The benefits of practice. Toe tapping, foot dragging, picking it up, and making sure it was a catch. While we're not playing 3 yards in a cloud of dust football anymore, I kind of get why those old school coaches sometimes didn't want to throw the football. Because if it's popped up in the air, it almost turns into slow motion, and both sides trying to get to the football, and you're holding your breath wondering whether it's going to go good or bad for your team.
It's a gain of 5, and they're going to have a third down. We're still in search of the first down after that last completion.
3rd and 5, so they bring in an extra defensive back.
Expecting pass. Again, it's Breeze. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
Whenever I see an in-route dropped, as we just saw on that play, I'm always thinking that in the back of their mind, they're worried about what's coming at them because they're going towards traffic on that route as opposed to being away from it and maybe having a little bit more space.
Oh, he takes it in, doesn't let it bounce. He takes it at the 2. It'll go as a 50-yard punt, 6 yards on the return. And the Ravens will get it. 1st and 10 from deep in their own territory. And now here come the Ravens. They go play action here on 1st down. And he's going to drop this off to his fullback. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the next step in utilizing this position to actually utilize more of a scat back in this spot because we saw the catch there, right? He made it. He was a bigger, stronger guy, maybe not quite as elusive as maybe someone else you would put
Yeah,
there.
didn't get the big yardage there you might out of a smaller back. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
Oftentimes when a guy has a game like this.
Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. That's going to leave them with just 1 remaining here in this 4th quarter. The Saints with an extra defensive back here on 3rd on the field.
Could they blitz? And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that any time you hand the ball to a back.
He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Taken from just outside the 30. A good return there, 17 yards. And we have reached the 2-minute warning. Drew Brees getting ready to go again on offense. So he didn't start this one the way he wanted to, but yeah, he's so elite, been through so many of these battles. Hard to keep him down for an extended period of time.
And to demonstrate just how unusual this start was for him, our guy Marvin handed us some statistics that showed us he doesn't do this very often. What we're seeing now, though, that's what we're used to seeing. He made an adjustment, and boy, it's working really well.
Back to his old form. Throwing on first down is Breeze. Throw complete right side to Cooks. 5 yards on the pickup, and it's a second down.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
Play action. Breeze. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Terrell Suggs in there to pick up his second sack now of the afternoon. Throwing now is Breeze. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Normally, he's pretty reliable. Usually catches what's thrown to him. On that play, he simply dropped it.
And his kick is right there. It's good. And they're back within 3 scores as it's now a 22-point game. Well, in the grand scheme of things, it's likely not going to matter much, but at least they get themselves 3 points closer to respectability.
And I don't know that they're going to feel a whole lot better about things because they've clearly been outplayed all game long. But, hey, no reason not to take the points when the opportunity presents itself.
And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. They have the big cushion. Here in the final stages of this one, I don't know if there's any better feeling than being up big on the road.
There really can't be, because for a team to go on the road and win in the NFL, that's huge to begin with. But just think about all the preparation that went into it. When they first started talking about this game, leading up to it during the week, going on the road, unfamiliar city, obviously, unfamiliar hotel. No one's going to be with you once you get to the stadium. They're all going to be against you. You name it, all those things they had to deal with, they were able to conquer them and do it convincingly.
Yeah, they did it very convincingly, and now the final moments of this one. It's caught on the right side, Williams. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving.
Coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there, and how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end, let him get some rack.
Yeah, when he gets moving, not many guys want to come over and put a hit on him, do they?
On the stop, Stephon Anthony with a tackle.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Space for him.
Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
Well, I'd say that run's pretty emblematic of what we've seen all day long. No matter what they've done on offense, this offensive line has controlled the line of scrimmage, given them time to throw it, run it, do whatever they wanted. That's why there are points up on the board. And right now, the psyche of the offense, we're in control, and we can do whatever we feel like doing out here on the field.
And this will likely be the last play and wrap things up. A lot of scoring.